Hi guys, welcome to my channel, and today we're going to be talking about my entire Rubik's Cube collection. I've been cubing for nearly 4 years at this point, and so today we're going to be talking about my first cubes, all the way up to my main cubes that I still use in competitions today, and everything in between. So let's get started. Starting in the top left over there are my first cubes from every single N by N, starting with the 1x1. This is a cube that I made by taking just like a regular 6-sided die, spray painting it black, and then super gluing little pieces of construction paper on there for the stickers. And yeah, you can pretty much tell it's a homemade product. I've already kicked my camera. Hopefully I can keep it in one spot for the rest of the video. By the way, the reason I kicked my camera is because for every single cube, I have to walk up to where the cube is, pick it up, talk about it to you, and then put it back, and then grab the next one all over again. I've got to sit like this next to my tripod so you guys can actually see the cube. Case in point, my first ever 2x2, a Rubik's 2x2. It actually turns pretty okay, but for a first 2x2, it did the job, but it's not really anything to write home about. This was the first ever Rubik's Cube I ever got. It's just a regular old 3x3. It's super loud too. You can't even hear me talking probably, but yeah, it's really loud, but it was the first one, so it gets a pass. Here's my first 4x4. Again, it's a Rubik's 4x4, although the logo is a little scratched off. Yeah, this is a pretty good 4x4. And I guess, little fun fact, this thing fell apart at school once. I remember finding one of the internal pieces at my house. I thought nothing of it. When I got to school, I started turning it and it just like exploded. It went all over the floor. Luckily, I got all the pieces into a plastic bag and was able to put it back together once I got home, but it took me like 2 hours because taking it apart and putting it back together big cubes is really annoying. Now making the jump up from 4x4 all the way up to 7x7. This is the MFJS Maylong 7x7. It was my first 7x7, and yeah, it doesn't turn awesomely, but fun fact, I was playing ping pong one day with this thing in my pocket. I lunged for a ball, and I ended up falling on the pocket that this cube was in, and it exploded into a ton of pieces. I managed to put it back together, but the green center was totally broken. And so it ended up staying broken for over a year until I super glued it very recently. So now I can turn, but I still have to be a little bit careful with it because I don't want to break it. Now we're starting onto my main cubes, also known as the cubes that I use in official Rubik's Cube competitions because they are my best cubes. This is the Yushin Little Magic 2x2M. It's a pretty cheap, magnetic, stickerless 2x2. And yeah, it's pretty good. I'd recommend buying one. It's actually amazing for its price. This is my main 3x3. It's a Qi 3x3 Pro M Maglev. It's got a long name, but it's pretty good. And I got it for free with one of my orders because it was over like $150 or something. So yeah, it's got maglev, it's got magnets. I've lubed it up. It's like my best 3x3. This is the YJ MGC 4x4. It's a cheap and pretty good 4x4. And yeah, the MGC lineup of puzzles is very good, and you should definitely check them out. I only have the 4x4 because I pretty much have other cubes that I like, so yeah. The MGC cubes are pretty good. Just be wary of the price. They're cheap, but not that cheap. This is the MFJS Maylong 5x5M. It's a cheap and pretty good magnetic 5x5, although I'm sure there are better ones out there. This one was just the cheapest magnetic 5x5 I could find, so I got it. Yep, it's a 5x5, that's for sure. Probably my worst main out of all of these cubes is the MFJS 6x6. It's not magnetic, and it turns pretty bad, just like that 7x7. Yeah, I don't really do 6x6 very often though, so maybe I'm overdue for a new cube. I don't know. This is probably my newest main. It's the Qi Warrior 7x7 magnetic plus UV, and it's only like around $20, so it's really good for the price. I'm surprised not a whole lot of people are talking about it because it's actually such a good 7x7 for what you get. This is my X-Man Wingy V2 Scube. It's okay, but there's definitely better Scubes out there. I was just kind of dumb and I bought the X-Men Wingy. I probably should have bought the Gan, but yeah, it's my Scube. This is my Yushin Little Magic Square 1M. It's magnetic in both the slice layers and also in the top layers. So yeah, it's got a lot of magnets in it, I guess. Square 1 is one of my newest WCA events just because I just learned how to solve it not very long ago. So I'm still learning. My main Pyraminx is the GAN Pyraminx Standard. Now I bought this cube before I knew that this one was bad, so don't blame me. It is my best Pyraminx though, because I only have 3 of them, and Even though the GAN is bad, it's my best, so that's why I have it. Yeah, this one really needs an oil change. My main Megaminx is the YJ Yoo-Hoo V2, which is probably the funnest name out of any of my puzzles. I got this cube off of Z3 Cubing's recommendation, and yeah, for $14 you get a magnetic stickerless Megaminx, and yeah, it's very good. I would definitely recommend buying one, if you know how to solve Megaminx. Heck, even if you don't know how to solve Megaminx, buy one of these cubes because they're so good. My most expensive main is definitely the Chi clock. The clock is something that you just hand to some non-cuber and they're like, how the heck does this thing work? Because, you know, you got all these dials, move the pieces around. But yeah, I feel like if you gave this someone who did not know how to solve it, by the end of the day, they'd probably have it figured out. Might even be pretty fast at it. Also, here's something you just learned you can do. If all the pins are up, you can just flick the cube. Now, well, most of them will be down. There, now all of them are down. Works the other way too. Next for WCA cubes is my Lingao Magic. Now, this cube technically isn't in the WCA anymore, but it used to be, which is why I have it here. So yeah, your goal is to just make all these 3 rings connect. I believe my fastest time is like 3 seconds or something. But yeah, you start the magic event with the 3 rings like this. The cube is never scrambled, it's always just like this, and your goal is to get it back into that V shape. So it's pretty understandable why it got removed. The top shelf is nearly finished, so I guess we'll finish it off by doing these rainbow looking cubes and these big cubes you've been staring at the whole time. You can tell by the way my shelf is slanting that I just took off a bunch of cubes, and these are my force cubes. These cubes are made by taking apart 6 stickerless cubes, taking apart the pieces, and then putting them together so all the cubes are the same color. So here we've got yellow, green, blue, red, orange, white, and finally we have black, which I actually made by taking off the stickers from a stickered cube. That exact kind of cube right there. When I dropped the black cube, a bunch of the center caps fell off. This isn't the first time that's happened. Alright, now that my shelf is perfectly balanced again, we can get on to the big cubes, starting with this very loud 3x3. This is the MFJS Meilong 9cm big 3x3, and yeah, it's definitely big. It also turns really well. It had some great factory lube put in it, and like I said, it's very loud. I can pretty much copy and paste my script for the 2x2 that I did for the 3x3. Turns very smooth for some reason. It's 9cm. It's an MFJS Meilong cube, and it's also very loud. Well, not as loud. This entire top shelf is officially finished, so now we can go to the second shelf, where this first section is a bunch of Rubik's branded products. Starting with this random 3x3, my mom bought this for someone. It sat in the closet for a couple years, and eventually she asked if I wanted it. I said sure, but I'm keeping it inside of its box since I have no real use for it. Maybe it'll be worth something someday. This is a 3x3 that my friend gave me, and what I did was I actually took it apart and I sanded all the pieces down so that they'd be pretty round, but it didn't really work. But it does turn a little bit better. It's very clacky. For some reason, the white side turned blue. I've seen this happen on a couple other people's cubes. If anyone knows why, let me know. But this is actually a cube that I solved in front of my whole school at the talent show. I did it in 42 seconds because I forgot to bring my better cubes with me. This was the only one I remembered to bring. This one might just look like a black Rubik's cube, but if I move my hand here, you can see that it's actually the heat-sensitive Rubik's Phantom cube. So it's completely black, and then to solve it, you have to rub your hand on it, and it'll reveal all the colors. So yeah, it's a pretty fun challenge, especially if you're in a cold environment. This is the Rubik's Squish cube, so it's just like a normal 3x3, except you can like squish it in your hands. It's pretty weird. It turns very bad though, because it's pretty much just foam rubbing on foam. But the interesting thing about it being made of foam is that I can do this with it. This is the Rubik's cat. Wait, wrong animal. This is the Rubik's snake. I have it in a ball shape right now, but yeah, it's basically a puzzle that you can snake around, make a bunch of fun shapes. It's pretty okay, but I just like to keep it in the ball shape because I don't know how to make some of the more complex patterns on it. This is the original Rubik's clock. I can't get it to focus, but it says it's from 1988. It's got a signature on it, but yeah, the original clock is not very good. It's rattly for some reason. Pins are very gummy. They don't like to move very well. And also, the dials are just awful. This one won't even turn. Probably just because the pins aren't all aligned correctly. This is a cube that I got from the Mall of America in Minneapolis. Yeah, it doesn't actually turn, but you can take off the top and rotate it, so as far as I'm concerned, it can turn. But yeah, this just had some mints inside. The mints were okay, from what I remember. They were just a bunch of different colors, but yeah, I like to leave it solved like this, let people look at it, try to turn and be like, what the heck? Alright, this is the Rubik's world's smallest 3x3. As you see, there's another cube that's actually smaller than this one. But yeah, this is the smallest official Rubik's Cube. And it actually segues nicely into our next section, the tiny cubes. This is the Xena IV keychain cube. It's an IV cube, which you'll see coming up over here. But yeah, it's pretty easy to solve. I actually recommend getting an IV cube at some point because they're pretty easy to solve and they're kind of fun. You can solve them in under 5 seconds if you're good. And this one, you're supposed to put it on a keychain. I don't know what I've done with the keychain, but yeah, you hang it right here off your keys or something. Now, if you want the best turning to cost to size ratio, you should definitely get the GAN 330. Because it's made by GAN, it turns very good, and it's only like $8. So yeah, I've seen a video where Z3 Cubing put magnets in it, and it looked pretty cool. I thought about getting another one to do that, but I haven't gotten around to it. But yeah, this is probably the best turning small cube you can get out there. Alright, here I've got two small 3x3s. They turn absolutely terribly. This one on the left here, it has like a very wrong color scheme. You got blue next to green, yellow next to white, and red next to orange. Yeah, this one's just terrible. But this one's actually okay. But I do believe the color scheme is still wrong. You know, it should be orange, blue, red, green. So two of these colors are just switched around. Other than that, it's pretty faithful. It still doesn't turn very great though. This next cube is so small, you probably didn't even see it on my shelf. It is the Cube Labs 1cm 3x3. It turns way better than the Rubik's one, and it's like half the price and less than half the size. So I definitely recommend this one if you're a small puzzle enthusiast, I guess. To round up the second shelf, we have this whole collection of carbon fiber cubes. These are all Chi carbon fiber cubes, just to save me some time. And basically they take colored plastic and then slap these weird textured stickers over it that look like carbon fiber, but they actually aren't. Yeah, pretty much all of these cubes turn great. And yeah, I have nothing to say about them. This is the 2x2 version. This is the carbon fiber 3x3. It's pretty much the exact same as the 2x2, so doesn't got a whole lot to say about it. But I do have a bit to say about the 5x5, because you actually can't get this one anymore. It was discontinued. It was on clearance, so I got it for a discount. You also may have noticed that I don't have a 4x4, so should I get one? Let me know down below. Next is this cube. I actually got these next 4 cubes out of the same gift box. You can see that in one of my last videos. But yeah, I don't really like Scube, but it was part of a gift box, so I got it. Next is the square one. And yeah, like I said, square one is my newest event, and I got this one out of gift box. Not really a whole lot to say about it, is there? The Pyraminx actually turns pretty good, but it like deforms and locks up a lot, so I wouldn't say I recommend it. I'd honestly say the Megaminx probably came out the best out of all of the cubes, but I mean, yeah. Again, what do I say about it? It's a carbon fiber Megaminx. It's literally just a Megaminx. Finally, we have an interesting cube. This is the windmill cube, and it's basically just a 3x3. But you cut it differently. So you can see here we have two edges, and the 4 corners. So yeah, it's literally just a 3x3. And I think this is probably my favorite checkerboard pattern out of any of the Rubik's cubes, because it looks like Sonic. That's the first 2 shelves down. Now we start on this 3rd shelf with all of my cube mods on it. This may look like a regular 3x3, but in fact, it is a really fast turning cube. So yeah, I just did like a U5 on the top there. That was like, I don't even know what that was. But if you put it on the bottom, it goes pretty far too. On one of my other channels, there's actually a video of me spinning it with compressed air. It goes pretty fast. If I can find it, maybe I'll link it. Or I can just let you guys find it. This might look like a weird looking 3x3, but you can't actually turn it until you turn this middle layer 45 degrees, and then you can turn it. This is actually a cutter cube, and as you can see, it's not finished. I didn't bother painting this thing. The stickers are all messed up, and this blue one doesn't even match. I'm thinking about maybe 3D printing this one to get it right, and redoing all the stickers, because yeah, these genuinely look terrible. This is an edges only 3x3. It's actually much easier to solve than a regular 3x3, and I made it by taking all the corner pieces and just cutting them off so that the mechanism was still inside, but it would still stay together. It's a lot less flimsy than it looks, actually. I don't think this one's ever popped on me. Next, we have fused cubes. So you do these kinds of cubes by taking apart the cube, reassembling it with only some of the pieces, and then gluing it together in certain parts. So at this one, I glued them together at the core. So they're fused like this. It's pretty easy to solve. because you can just do R, U, and F moves. So that makes it pretty easy to solve. And yeah, you just do that twice, and there's your cube. These cubes are way harder though. These are Siamese cubes, because it's almost like you could do a turn down here, but you actually can't. Yeah, these ones you can only do like R and U moves, so it's a lot harder to solve, but you can actually do this on this one too, but it's a lot funner to do here. This is one of my most fragile mods. It's two 3x3s fused at the corner, so it's actually the exact same as solving a regular 3x3. So yeah, I actually took a stickered cube and a stickerless cube and fused them together, but it doesn't turn super well because, as you can see here, it's almost like bulging at the seams. Before I move on to those 2x2s right there, you're probably wondering what cube I've been using for all of these mods right here. This is actually the Cheese Sale W. It's a very good cube because it's only $4. You get discounts when you buy them in bulk, plus they're stickered. So you can easily peel the stickers off if you want to do something. I actually have two right here. One of them I'm planning on actually keeping. Well, this other one, if I ever think of a mod, I'll just make a mod with it, and then I can just buy more of these next time I ever need to do a mod. Next, we have these corner fused 2x2s, which are functionally the same as these 3x3s. And so yeah, you can just think of this missing corner as this whole big thing here. So it's pretty easy to solve. It's just like solving two 2x2s, except this one looks a lot weirder. I kind of wish I made a custom piece for it, so these would just fit, but yeah, you learn something new every day. This would probably be one of my favorite mods if it actually panned out. This is a Van Halen Stripes 3x3. So yeah, Eddie Van Halen's guitar. It has these stripes all over it. I 3D printed this cube from a design I found online. I'll make sure to link it in the description, just because it's a pretty good design. I cut some black and white stickers, and I put them on the cube, and some of them were kind of peeling, so I was like, I'll put a clear coat over it. That was a bad mistake, because then more of them started peeling, and it actually kind of ruined the look of the cube. As you can see here, it's kind of just all weird and glossy, and some of the stickers are still peeling on here. So yeah, I ended up having to super glue them, and on top of all that, the short that I made got like no views, so it's just a bad time all around. I'm thinking of making another one of these in blue, and I'm just gonna paint the stripes on, because I think it'd just be easier. This is a Tetraminx, and it's basically just a Pyraminx, but you have to take off the tips. So I did that by taking an MFJS Maylong Pyraminx, which you actually can't get anymore, by the way. And I just like unscrewed the tip part, and then I just put the screws back in. Luckily it worked. I know for some Pyraminxes it won't work, but yeah. And then I took the stickers. As you can see here, there's no yellow on all the sides. I just took the opposite side and put that sticker on here just so that it looked cool. You could obviously leave it black if you wanted to, but I wanted to put colors on them. This is a Lego 2x2 that I made, where I took a 2x2. This is actually the same kind of 2x2 I used to make the fuse cubes. It's actually that one right there, I forgot to mention it. But yeah, I took that 2x2 and I took all the stickers off, and then I actually found a bunch of Legos, glued those together, sanded it down so that you could corner cut pretty easily. I say pretty easily, you actually can barely corner cut. So yeah, I put those on here, and you might actually notice we've got white, green, blue, red, yellow, but no orange, because I don't have a whole lot of orange Legos, so I use this tan color. So yeah, it doesn't look very good, but at least you can solve the cube. And I got my homie Spider-Man up here, so that's pretty cool. Right, this looks like a regular old 2x2, except you actually can't do this move. What I just did was super glue these two pieces together, and then I put some sticker on top of it, just so that from far away you can kind of tell, but not really. So yeah, this is actually easier to solve because you can only do R and U moves. So yeah, just to prove a point, I'm going to solve it right now. Oh, I looked at the wrong pieces. Yeah. You actually don't get a PLL case. You just get the first two pieces, and then OLL, and then you're done. This is just some regular old 3x3 that I put inside of a jar. The way you put a cube in a jar is that you take it apart and put it as big as possible so it'll still fit inside the jar. And then you have to carefully put it together in there. Yeah, this is actually my first ever main. So I got that Rubik's 3x3 first, then I bought this cube off of Amazon. I believe it's a Chi Warrior W. And yeah, it's only $5. I hate the sticker shades, and so I decided to immortalize it by putting it in a jar. And as you can see, I actually cracked it trying to put it in there, so that's pretty cool. Alright, to finish the third row and beyond, we actually have some non-WCA puzzles. I would have liked to have these on the bottom row, but I just couldn't fit everything on screen, so we got a few cubes up here to finish up the third row. These are some Chi Killaminxes. I actually bought this one as one of my first ever orders from the cubicle, just because I wanted to learn how to solve one. And then annoyingly, a year later, they offered a deal where you could like get $100 worth of products and then get a free Killaminx. So I decided, why not? And I just got an extra one. So if anyone has a use for it, let me know. Maybe there's like a mod I can make out of it or something. And to finish out the top row, we have this random Ivy cube. I don't know where I got it from. There's like these weird logos on it. It says like Star and then Mofonga. So I don't know where I got this. I got it from Amazon somewhere. I'm gonna have to dig through old Amazon archives. Maybe the video I took of this thing a long time ago on one of my other channels. But yeah, this is just an Ivy cube. I actually got this Ivy cube with that Chi Warrior W, that Scube, and that Pyraminx. So yeah, I'll dig through the archives, see if I can find the name of this thing. The first 3 rows are done. Now we just have these bottom 2 rows. Now I get to move on to this big behemoth down here. And if the camera seems different or cubes are moved around, this is actually a few days later. This video is taking a lot longer than I thought. This is the Shengshao Gigaminx V2. This is actually the cheapest Gigaminx you can get. I think it's like 20 something dollars. So yeah, Shengshao actually made a Gigaminx before, but this one is way better. And yeah, it turns kind of smooth. It's a little tight. Maybe you should get the Yushin. I wouldn't know. I haven't bought it, but I think this is one of my favorite puzzles that I have. This is the Chi Gear Cube. Yeah, it's just a cube where instead of doing single turns, you have to turn aside twice before you can turn it. And yeah, these gears spin around. There's some pretty weird parodies that you might not be able to get on other gear cubes. Like here, where it just like flips a bunch of edges onto opposite sides. So yeah, you just gotta watch out for that, but it's actually pretty easy to solve. It's kind of just like a 3x3, but you gotta learn like 2 extra algorithms to be able to solve it. This is the Shengshao 7-axis 3x3. And yeah, if any of my cubes were a middle child, this would be it. This cube has like 1 review on the Cubicle. It's been out for a few years at this point, but yeah. It's like that like pentahedron or whatever it's called. I always forget what the name is, but yeah, you turn it opposite like this and you can turn these sides. Yeah, it's actually pretty fun. I believe I have a video of me solving it on my channel for the first time with zero help, and it's actually a lot easier than you'd think. This is the Chi O2 cube. It's actually one of the easiest cubes in my collection. You solve it by matching a color to its side and then just doing one more move from there, and it's pretty much solved. But I actually spent an extra $1 on this puzzle because for that $1 you can get this. Yeah, it's a fidget spinner in the big 25. You might take one look at this next cube and be like, wow, isn't that kind of like a spherical version of that Ivy cube? Well, this cube is actually colloquially known as the Yeet Ball, unfortunately. You know, it's a product of an old relic, but it's actually released by the company Duncan, and I believe they called it the Beach Ball, but yeah, it's pretty much just an Ivy cube or a Yeet Ball, so yeet. This is the Yushin Earth 2x2. It's basically just the globe, but in 2x2 form. So yeah, the annoying thing about this cube is that I believe some of the shapes just match up a little too well. Yeah, it's just the Earth. It's another spherical puzzle. I'd throw it, but I think there's enough stuff happening today, so I'm not going to do that. This is the Z 1x1x2. It's extremely easy, and it only has 6 states, all of which I just went through right now. You could give this to like a 1-year-old and they'd probably have it solved within like 2 minutes. This is the Lee Fun Christmas Tree 1x2x3. Yeah, it's basically a 1x2x3, and you solve it as such. The color scheme is really weird though. You've got white right next to yellow, green right next to blue, and no orange anywhere, but I guess they kind of wanted a red and green thing. Whatever. I respect it. You can also hang it from your tree, just like a Christmas ornament, which is pretty cool, I guess. I've done it a couple of times, but you know, what's the point of having a cube on your tree if you can't solve it? This is the Chi 2x2x3. Yeah, it's pretty much just a 2x2 with an extra layer, I guess you could call it. And yeah, this is basically, ironically enough, a square 1 if it was like only the corners. You know, you can only do like these slice moves. Yeah, that cube is also called a square 0, which is pretty cool, but I don't have one. This is just a regular banana. Just kidding. It's actually a shape mod of that 2x2x3 I just showed you guys. And yeah, fair note to any cubers, get this cube. It's like less than $10, and whenever some person asks you, what's the weirdest Rubik's Cube have, you can just pull this thing out and watch them sit with it for way too long. 10 out of 10, would recommend. This cube is a Pyraminx Duo. It's kind of just like 3 tips with the center. And you're actually able to solve this cube in like 4 moves or less. Or if you use like a beginner's algorithm thing, you could solve it in like 8 moves or something. I don't know how many moves I did, but it was quite a few, and yeah. Once again, you could give this to a beginner and they'd have it solved within like the hour. This is a void pyraminx. It's basically just a pyraminx with a hole through it. And there's a very popular mod of a 3x3 called the void pyraminx, which is basically the same thing, just a 3x3 with a hole through it. But yeah, this one is with a pyraminx. It's actually of a mod of the pyraminx called a jinx pyraminx, which basically adds the center. Because there's no center, it's pretty much just a pyraminx. You know, these are like your centers and your edges. And yeah, you solve it just like that. There's no tips, but I think this is easier to solve than a regular pyraminx for that reason alone. It doesn't turn very well though. For the last of our weird shape mods, we have the Yushin Master Pyraminx. So yeah, it's pretty much just a pyraminx, but with one extra layer on it. It makes it a little harder to solve. People think it should be added to the WCA, and honestly, I think I agree. I really like the Master Pyraminx, even if it's a bit harder to solve. Should probably just learn some extra algorithms though, because I kind of came up with all the algorithms on my own, and I would probably benefit from actual training rather than just regurgitating what I learned the first day I got this cube. Alright, with that cube, that wraps up pretty much all the weird shape mods. Now we're getting to 3x3 mods, starting with the YJ Tianyuan O2 Cube V3. If you remember the O2 Cube from earlier, this is kind of just like that, except it can also do 2x2 moves, but not only that, there's edges on the inside. So yeah, this cube is actually just a 3x3 with all of its edges hidden, but luckily you can still pull apart the pieces to see the edges. It's just a little bit harder to solve than a regular 3x3 is all. This is the cube style twist 3x3. It's like if you just took a 3x3 and then just twisted it. I guess you can already do that on a 3x3, but yeah. It's pretty much just a twisty cube, and because it's a shape mod, you can rotate these centers around either 90 or 180 degrees. So you have to like switch them with one of these centers or rotate one of these centers, because it doesn't matter how these ones are oriented. You can also get edge parity, because as you can see, these edges can fit in any orientation, so that's something you gotta look out for. This is the Moyu Puppet Cube one. It might just look like a 2x2, then you start turning it, and yeah, it does that. I've actually scrambled it up once. I tried to solve it. I managed to get it back into the shape of a cube, but I still had to move around a bunch of these pieces. I gave up and I took it apart because I couldn't be bothered. This is a Chi Fluffy Cube. It's pretty much just a 3x3, but fluffy for some reason. Yeah, look at that and tell me that's fluffy. But yeah, it's pretty much a 3x3 that's harder to turn and finger trick, and worse in every way. But hey, at least it's at least it's in stickerless. So that's pretty fun. That's cool. Very cool. This is the MFJS Pandora Cube. It's pretty much just a fluffy cube, except it has stickers and it's in like a diamond shape kind of. So yeah, the fact that these corners are so close together actually makes it pretty hard to do stuff like M moves, or if you hold the cube a particular way, you actually have to like hold it a completely different way because the pieces just like touch your fingers. It just makes it really annoying to do pretty much anything on the cube. This is the YJ Blind Cube, and basically each color has a different sort of shape on it. It's like green has a circle, red has like this weird kind of flower, yellow has squares, white is flat, so on and so forth. So yeah, you basically can solve it by covering your eyes and then just feeling what each piece is. So yeah, it's pretty fun to solve blindfolded. I've done it a few times, and it has a really nice clacky sound to it. Yeah, it kind of sounds just like a typewriter or something. It's so cool. I like this cube a lot. This is the MFJS Meilong Master Morphix. It might kind of look like some weird pyraminx. Then you turn it like this, and you're like, huh? And then you realize it's literally a 3x3. So here's your 4 edges, and here's your 4 corners, and you basically just turn it like this. So it's pretty difficult to solve. Again, just do it in double turns if you really want to. Keep it in the shape of a triangle. I think I've solved this cube once with great difficulty, because these edges look the exact same, and you can flip them around. It almost looks like you have some sort of parody. But yeah, this cube's pretty hard to solve. This is the Chi 2x2 mirror cube. It's like a 2x2, but each piece is a different height, so you solve it based on shape and not color. I have a few 3x3 ones down there. But the stupid thing about this 2x2 is that if you look, this shape, and this shape are all the same, along with this one, and this one. Annoying puzzle to solve. Make an actual 2x2 mirror cube. Someone, please. That rounds out these 4 rows. Now onto this curved one that I made because I just have way too many cubes. This is one of my Yushin Black Kirin 3x3 mirror cubes. I got it in gold. I actually got this one first, and I got the 2x2 in silver later because I just wanted another color of mirror cube. So yeah, just like I said, this is a mirror cube, but you solve it using shapes instead of colors. It's pretty fun, and I would definitely recommend this if you know how to solve 3x3 as an extra challenge. This is my other mirror cube. As you can see, I left the logo sticker on this one, and that's to distinct it from one factor of that 3x3. Yeah. The thinnest layer, the center piece, completely snapped off. I've tried gluing it, it didn't work. I actually contacted the cubicle and they sent me that one, so that's pretty cool of them. So yeah, I keep this other one instead of throwing away, just in case there might be some mod I want to do on it later, or if I ever do end up fixing that center cap. I'm actually going to leave the cube like that for the rest of the video, but anyways, that marks off all the shape mods. Now we're on to real actual WCA puzzles. Just like extras that I have, starting with this Diane Shang 2x2M. It's got UV coating, and yeah, I got this cube thinking it would be way better than it actually was, because you know, it's magnetic and it has UV coating, and it's like $10, but in reality it's really blocky, it locks up a lot. It's actually way worse than that like $7 2x2 that I got a long time ago. This is a stickered MFJS Maylong 2x2. This is actually what I made a few of my 2x2 mods out of, like that banished one and the conjoined 2x2s. But yeah, it's actually pretty bad. It's kind of weird. Sandy, locks up, it's got a lot of friction to it. The cool thing about it is that you can actually get these without the stickers put on them, which makes it great for modding, especially for something like the conjoined cubes where you actually don't put stickers on some of the pieces. So yeah, it's pretty okay. And they're only like $4, so that's another plus. This was my original Speed 4x4. It's the MFJS 4x4M. It's a cheap and pretty good magnetic 4x4 until I got the MGC. Then this thing just became obsolete. It also looks like I might have dropped it at some point, so that's pretty fun. But yeah, it's a pretty good magnetic 4x4 if you're just starting out 4x4. This is some random cube that came with that Ivy cube that I got. And come to think of it, this kind of looks like the same logo that's on some Chi cubes, so maybe this is a cheese cube of some sort. I don't know. It's very clicky. It's got ball bearings. It was my first ever Scube. This is the cube I learned to solve Scube on. And it's actually not that bad. I'm going to be honest. If I didn't have my X-Man wingy, I'd probably compete with this thing. In fact, I have before. This was some random Pyraminx that I got along with these 3 cubes over here. So yeah, this is just all part of one big Amazon order. It's pretty clacky. It's got ball bearings. It's actually also behind my GAN Pyraminx. These two are honestly interchangeable, and that's kind of sad. So yeah, just generic Pyraminx that I got. It's got stickers and ball bearings, just like any old cube. And rounding out the Pyraminx, we have what I believe is the Moyu RS Pyraminx. I actually got this from a mystery item, so I wasn't able to see what I actually got. Although I do have the box, and I believe it is the Moyu RS, because it was around $10, I remember. So yeah, it's a stickerless magnetic Pyraminx, but it's still got a springs in it. You can kind of hear the spring noise. And it appears that I have dropped it a few times, as you can see here. So yeah, this one was okay, and then it wasn't. So yeah, I don't know. I think even after I got this cube, I was still maining that generic Pyraminx right there. Here we have a Shengshao clock, which I believe I actually took apart and swapped these clock faces around, because these two shades definitely don't fit together. But these two actually look kind of cool. So yeah, what I did was I opened it up, and I just flipped all these dials around. And I don't know if I like how it looks, but yeah. It's a pretty cheap clock. It's actually one of the cheapest ones you can get. The pins are magnetic, but they don't travel very far. As you can see here, they just barely travel at all. So yeah, Chi clock is definitely better. I'd say suck up the $30 and buy a Chi clock, because this one just isn't super good. That's all for the rest of the WCA puzzles. Now we're on to pretty much anyone's bread and butter, the 3x3, starting with this $20-something Chi Smart Cube. This is my only Smart Cube I have. As you can see there, there's lights in it, and yeah, I think this is the best ones you can buy, because the app is okay, even if some of it does have a bit of broken English, just because these companies are all like from China. But yeah, the cube is pretty cheap. You don't have to get it in this weird tiled design. You can get it in stickerless too, I believe. I got tiled because I just don't have a whole lot of like tiled or stickered cubes, so yeah. It's pretty decent, and it's also like one of the cheapest ones you can buy. So I don't know, maybe get a GAN, but if you just want to get into smart cubes, I'd say definitely get this one. This is some random dollar store smiley cube. It doesn't turn very good. I've ended up solving it a few times, and just like any dollar store cube, you have to be really careful and don't force turns that you aren't supposed to force. It will end very badly. Just trust me. Don't do that. please. I don't believe I've mentioned this, but I'm actually going in ascending order of worst to best 3x3s, aside from that smart cube. Now, this is some random dollar store cube I got. It's actually pretty loose, probably just for me taking it apart, putting it back together so many times. I honestly am of the opinion that it's easier to take apart a dollar store cube and solve it than to actually solve it. So yeah, this one's almost like a super cube where the orientation of the arrows actually matters. So as you can see, all these yellow ones are facing down except for this one, which is facing up. So yeah, make sure you take that into consideration. So yeah, don't get dollar store cubes. It won't end well. This is a white colored plastic stickered cube from the toy brand Duncan, if you remember them from that beach ball cube over there. But yeah, I believe it was marketed as a speed cube. The logo is on yellow instead of white for some reason. But yeah, I actually believe that this cube is a comparable step up from a Rubik's brand 3x3. So I'd say definitely get this cube if you kind of just want an entry level into speed cubing. Although maybe you should save up like $3 extra to buy one of these ones. Astute viewers of my channel will definitely remember this cube. This is the Lifun periodic table 3x3 V2. And yeah, it's actually the subject of my most popular video on the channel with 70,000 views and climbing. So thank you guys for that, I guess. So yeah, it just displays a bunch of colors with periodic table elements on them, which if I can get it to focus, I could show you. You know, you have scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, iron, whatever the heck. And yeah, for some reason some of these are blank. I'm guessing that just makes it easier to solve if like one of the centers is rotated or something. I don't know. This cube is interesting, and it turns okay. This cube is the MFJS Maylong 3C. This is actually the same cube that was featured in that Conjoined Cubes mod, as well as what I made the 6 colored force cubes out of. I'd say if you're getting 20 of any one kind of Rubik's Cube, get 20 of these. They're pretty good, and you know, you could use them for just about anything, really. Right, this next cube is one of my first good Rubik's Cubes. This is the Moyu RS3M 2020. And it's only about $10. I thought it was going to be like the best cube ever. Unfortunately, I've kind of let mine go. It's got this very sandy feel. The magnets feel weird. And also, I had this cube for long before I ended up breaking it. And you'll be able to see that in just a second here. I was trying to twist a corner back and I actually broke this corner piece off. So that put this cube out of commission for good. I think I had this Warrior W and then I got this RS3M. Then I actually had to switch back to the W after this one broke. It was actually so unfortunate because this cube is pretty highly praised. So maybe I'll have to get another one. Let me know if you want to see a video like that. If that last cube was the Moyu RS3M 2020, then this is the Super RS3M 2022. I believe this is a cube I got after my RS3M 2020 broke. And yeah, this cube is actually super good. I believe I got it for free because my order was over $100 or something. Yeah, this is the first good speed cube, besides my main of course, that we've seen in this entire video. Unfortunately, you can kind of tell I've had this cube for a while. I ended up dropping it on the screen side. If it would focus, the white side is all scuffed, and it's kind of hard to see because it's so bright, but yeah, the white side is pretty scuffed. I believe I ended up placing this on the trunk of the car, and we drove away and the cube slipped off, I believe is what happened to it. So yeah. Treat your cubes nicely, I guess, but this is one of the best cubes on the list, even if it might be like a little expensive, maybe like $15 or $20. Alright, this next 3x3 is I think the most expensive one that I have, even beating that smart cube. This is the Diantengen MV1. It's one of the quietest cubes you can get. I bet if you put different loops inside of it, you could get it quieter. But hey, I like to take this one to school so I can like cube during class or something. Don't tell my teachers, I guess. But yeah, I'd say if you want a good cube, you should probably look elsewhere. Let's be honest, you're only getting this cube because of how quiet it is. And that brings me to my next cube, which is the MFJS 3x3M. I believe this was another one I got for free, but this one's only like $6, which is like complete opposite end of the spectrum from the Tengen. And yeah, it's only a little bit louder, but I've put extra magnets in it. I've put a bunch of lube in it over the years. This is probably one of my longest standing 3x3 mains, because it's just that good. I'd honestly recommend getting this cube. Ever. Maybe even over that Speed Duncan, because this one's only a few dollars more, and it's way better. So I've done countless solves on this cube alone. It's that good, but not better than my main. So yeah, I'd say that pretty much wraps up this very long video. It took me a few days to film. It's going to take me a while to edit and release it. You know, these videos take a lot of work, so I'd really appreciate it if you subscribed. This video is heavily inspired by Z3 Cubing's collection videos, and because I don't think he's going to be making any more of these soon, I think this will fill the void in everyone's hearts. Until he makes another one eventually. But yeah, if you liked the video, I'll see you later. I'm actually going to be making a video where I'm going to scramble up these cubes and solve all of them. It'll be like a big time lapse. It'll be worth it. Trust me. Stay tuned for that. I have other videos too. So, don't worry. Stay solving, I guess. Do that, please. Solving is very good.